Welcome again. This is Alex. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. In this video, we are going to look at the prediction of corona cases in Africa. So, World Health Organization has warned that a quarter of a billion will have corona in Africa. But those predictions, they are not accurate. I mean, they might be accurate, they might have coronaviruses, but they're not going to be affected by the virus. Because there are many reasons, many facts about Africa that are different from other parts of the world that they don't want Africans to know. For example, they keep just publishing the fake news to terrify Africans for their own agenda, whether it's vaccine or selling medicine to Africa. But corona is not killing many people in Africa as it is in other parts of the world. For example, and that is because of many reasons. One of the reasons that Africa is not going to be affected by corona as they are telling us is because Africa, we have a young population. So this is the disease that is killing mostly older people, those with weak immune system. So in Africa, we already know it's not killing as many people as they predict. It's not as bad as they predict, as they wish, but they're still hiding their fact. So Africa is made of young people. The majority of Africans, they are young people. So that's something good. That's a good news. So that means the cases is not going to be as bad as other parts of the world where they have millions of older people, countries with older people, older generation. So they have more risk because they have other disease. They have a weak immune system. Another reason Africa will not be affected, as they say, as the experts say, like World Health Organization, is that Africa, we don't have chronic disease like many parts of the world. For example, here in America, 1.5 million are diagnosed with diabetes every year. So we are talking about almost half of the country, they have diabetes. And we are talking of millions of people in America. So those people with those diseases, they have more chances of getting corona and of dying from corona because they already have other diseases. So, but in Africa, we don't have that much number. The whole continent, we're talking about 54 countries or 55. So we don't have that many cases of those diseases every year. So like here in America, and it's not just diabetes, they have so many diseases that are not present. For example, in America, every year the cancer killed 599,000. In the whole continent of Africa, we don't have that many cases. And this is just America. So they have those diseases that are chronic diseases that already exist in their countries. But we don't have those diseases in Africa. So when someone with chronic disease catches corona, they have less chance of surviving and they have more chances of catching the corona because of the weak immune system. So all those predictions they are predicting and wishing in Africa, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen as they wish. Because Africa, we are lucky, we have less chronic disease compared to America and Western countries. So one of the reasons is the chemicals. So they're exposed to chemicals, all those causing cancers, chemicals that cause the cancer. Everything they eat is processed. They eat unhealthy food. So you cannot compare America to Africa. So, but still, they are number one portraying their country as the best. We have the best medicine. We have the best way of tackling the disease, the corona, whatever. But in reality, they have nothing. America, they are most diabetic people. So they eat unhealthy food. And as a result, they are the most unhealthy people. If the epidemic comes globally, they're going to suffer more. So Africa is not going to suffer as they think, as they predict, as they tell us. Also, in Africa. So we don't have movements. We are not crowded as people in Western countries. We don't have cities of million. I mean, big cities in Africa, yes, but overall, the population, we are very uh, urbanized people. We have people in the countryside. They don't have interaction with the outsiders. So overall, the chances of suffering, having a billion, half a billion people suffering from COVID is a fake news. It's not true. It's just propaganda for their own agenda because they want everybody to be vaccinated. So despite having the chances of not being affected by COVID-19, we still see African countries being the first one to accept the vaccine. Let's be vaccinated. Let's vaccinate our people. The disease is so terrible. It's not terrible. No. It is terrible in those countries because they have more chances of dying. But in Africa, we should not be worrying like they are worrying, you know. So countries like Tanzania, everything is still open. They are working, the business is normal, and that's how other countries are supposed to be in Africa. So don't follow what they say. Try to think about outside the facts that advantages we have in Africa. You know, we eat healthy food, strong immune system, different from compared to those Western countries where everything is processed. And all those so-called vegetables in their countries, they are also cultivated with chemicals. So nothing is organic in their countries. So that's why they're refusing to even take the medicine from Madagascar. With all negative, everything comes from Africa. They just have negative way to talk about Africa. But in reality, we are on top of the world. We can serve the world if they if they accept our help. But instead, they keep trying to be the helper, trying to send a vaccine. We don't need a vaccine. Africa does not need a vaccine. So that's all we have for news. So the good news about Africa, all those factors that help us, make us safer, you know, give us more advantages of surviving this pandemic of COVID-19. Young people, more health, we eat less chronic disease. All those things, they're not telling us. So that's all I have for today. Subscribe for more information about Africa, and let's continue supporting Africa and tell our story. You know, subscribe, help me, support me so that we can continue to do more research and talk about those stories about Africa that are hidden by the West. Peace.